I kick into it with my left foot on the front peg and my right foot on the rear peg. Some people have their right foot on the pedal. It feels like I have more space if I have my back foot on the back peg rather than the pedal. First thing to try is kind of using the same momentum that you would use in an endo. It's that jumping up while you're putting the front brakes on. Now we're going to go for exactly the same thing, but this time with our front foot on the front peg and the back foot on the back peg. Yes, you've got a front foot and a back foot. And what this will do is get you used to having your feet in a different position while you go up on the front wheel. Following on, exactly the same thing, but this time as you go up on the front wheel, still using brakes, you're going to take your foot off the back peg. Pretty much as soon as you start to go up on the front wheel, you're taking your foot off the back peg. That should be pretty straightforward, not so scary. Good, we like not so scary. This time, as you come up, you jump and you take your foot off. I want you to push the handlebars down to get the seat up underneath your butt. So you're going to kick up, feet off, push the handlebars down to get the seat underneath your bottom. Awesome. Now, you're going to do the same thing and try and stay up on the front wheel until you get that balance point where you can take the front brakes off and still be on the front wheel. And you should be able to notice that your front wheel rolls a little bit before you put your foot down. So you come onto the front wheel with the brakes on. As you go over, that's when you can let the brakes off and you should roll a little bit forward. So come up, and that point, where you're going over, let the brakes off and roll. And that's the general idea. So you've been using brakes to kick your back wheel up in the air. Now try using without brakes. And this time start off with a little kick and see how high you can get the back up. Alright, this next step is the one where it does get a bit scary. You are going to kick up, you're going to jump off the pegs and land on the ground and stop yourself from falling over. Essentially, you've got to go too far to know how far you need to go. So go too far, then the next time you're going to pull that back a bit. So we're going, kicking the back wheel up and jumping off and catching it. Hopefully you can see that my foot's on the peg. There's a little bit of a balance before I'm jumping off. That's what you want to try and get to, so hang in there because it is doable. You will be able to do it. When you're jumping off, you're not landing with a thud, you're landing lightly. When you're pulling the back wheel up, you're landing lightly, and you're aiming to get this nice and smooth. At this point, we're still going slowly. But what I want you to try and think about now is, as you're kicking up the back wheel, think of a little kick, but then you're pushing the handlebars down to get the seat under your bottom, like what we did earlier. Pushing the handlebars down, getting the seat underneath your bottom in order to get the back wheel up. It's still nice and easy, and you're finding that balance point. As you do this step, you'll notice that you are a little bit balanced. Everything's up there before you need to jump off and put your feet on the ground. Get familiar with this, be familiar. Because now we're going to go a little bit faster. And from here on in, it is just a matter of progressively going a little bit faster and a little bit faster. And as you start to become more familiar with this, you'll notice you're going a little bit further every time on the front wheel. Just a little bit further. Keep it smooth. That's more important than how far you go. Keep it smooth, keep it in control. What you might start to notice is as you're on the front wheel, you're sitting on the seat, you've got your front foot forward trying to keep your balance. So you're like that. And what you might notice when people are doing a hang five is they've got their front foot out there balancing. This is just practice. When you get more used to it, you'll realize that you've got a lot of room to balance there with your handlebars. And actually, the more forwards you are, you've got a lot more balance there with your leg going backwards. However, when you're first trying it, you're first starting out, you've got that self-preservation in mind. So you're pulling back a bit, so your balance is behind you. So if you fall, you won't go over the handlebars. Before you're going to go straight down. That's why your leg's in front of you, because you've got that balance there. You've got to get your balance over the top to get your leg behind you. So from here on in, practice so you can get everything over the top, so you can get your leg behind you to balance. Now when you start becoming more familiar with it, you can even go a little bit faster. I'm always prepared to jump off so I don't go over the handlebars. If your bars aren't quite so wide, you are much more easily able to get your legs around them as you go to leap over the handlebars when you're about to stack. At this stage, you should be doing a couple of car park lengths, a couple of car park lengths or lines of the tennis court from one side to the other. You're still probably balancing on top of the bike, probably don't have much control of where you're going. That's okay. Eventually, what's going to happen is you're going to actively lean the bike while you're on the front wheel. So you're going to lean it or the other way, and that's going to be the way you turn and the way you control it, just like a wheelie. And of course from there we can go into whiplashes and seam rollers and all those things. So I hope this helps. And if you like the video, send it to a friend who's trying to learn hang fives. All right. Awesome, love your work. Catch you next time.